I don't want to. When they attack black people when they did absolutely nothing wrong, you're pushing us to the limit. And what do I mean by that? You're asking us to talk about history, the history of the South. This is in Georgia. What happened in Georgia? There were savages in Georgia. It was the ancestors of the white right-wingers. They were absolute savages. They were people, they enslaved people. They took babies from their mothers and sold them as property. You want to talk about savages? Your ancestors were the biggest savages the world has ever seen. And so don't you dare call a black man a savage after you murder him. Don't you dare do that. I'm so sick of African Americans being called violent when the world's worst violence was done to them, not by them, to them, not by them. For God's sake, you want to do racist stereotypes if it fit anywhere, and it doesn't. But if it fit anywhere, it would certainly fit white right-wingers in the South, who has hundreds of years of history of being savages. Savages. They snatched babies and they sold them as property and their mothers. Savages. That's what they were. You want to talk about stereotypes? Screw all of you who still defend that Confederacy, that monstrosity. Anyone who defends that is a barbaric savage.
That's why they don't want to teach American history in public schools. That's why there's been a strong orchestrated effort to prevent the teaching of anything that you just mentioned right now. Because, hey, God forbid that, children learn about the real savages in this country's history.
Smash up the likes. Subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Welcome to the Chesley Major channel. Chesley Major Media. I'm your host, Chesley Major. And we about to do a real major. What's going on, fam? Ladies and gents, majors and majorettes, welcome to Chesley Major Media. I am Chesley Major, your host, and we gonna get it cracking like pistachios in this thing today. Thanks to everybody who tune in and support the channel, but do me a solid before we get started. Go ahead and smash that like button, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Major salute to everybody out there who show love and support. All right, let's get into it. So, the judge, Angela Tucker, is being threatened online and offline now that she has reduced the bail of Karmelo Anthony. As of today, Karmelo Anthony has been released on $250,000 bond, and he is out on house arrest with an ankle monitor for the death of Austin Metcalf. Now, there's a perfect explanation and reason why I started my show with Sync from TYT, calling out the savagery of the right-wingers and their ancestors and their history of savagery. If you take a look online, you'll find that the judge is being threatened by all kind of people coming out of nowhere, talking about what they're going to do to her due to the fact that she thought that Carmelo deserved a lower bond, so she gave him one. And now that this 17-year-old kid is free, they're losing their minds. She has to beef up protection. Why? Because the savages are after her. But I also bought some receipts on Mr. Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf. Check this out.
So update to the update on the Carmelo Anthony case. And y'all, don't you love it when God takes care of things? Yeah. Because that was one of the phrases that Jeffrey Charles Metcalf, who is the father of Austin Metcalf, the unfortunate deceased individual in this situation, stated. But you know one other thing that God also does? He brings that's in the dark to the light. And when you try to disparage someone else's character because, you're trying to uplift the bullshit that you have brought forth. Because remember when he was like, I'm not trying to judge. What kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? And then you find out, what were you teaching your kids? Because, got him. Not you a whole offender out here, are you? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This says 2011, right? Them babies is 17, right? And see, the fact of the matter is, the math ain't mathin'. That means them chaps was on this good earth when you did this. So what were you teaching? But here's my thing. We all found it funny that the mom had her own GoFundMe and the dad had his GoFundMe. And I think they said there might be another GoFundMe out there for the son. Why do you all need all this money to do all this? Because it don't take all of that to bury this baby. But here's the other thing, because y'all was so upset that we were pushing the platform for Carmelo. Please continue to donate, because his legal fees, we need to make sure those are taken care of. We don't know how long this will go on. But GoFundMe needs to come front and center. Now, I did see that that GoFundMe has now been contested. But when y'all gonna pull it? Because we giving money to people on the offenders list now. That's what we're doing. Because they were so quick to talk about, Karmelo Anthony's family receiving the money for his legal defense because of what he is being accused of. But this ain't no accusation. This says you were arrested. Yeah. Now the parents are separated. Don't know. I mean, I don't know. Some people can drag on a separation for years. But it's so funny how you were quick to do this judgment in that goat tea. I peeped that. That God over all things tea. And see, I always, look at stuff like that because I was just like, he seems just a little bit too religious. Then you're going on press tours and whatnot. This one has garnered about $370,000. I think the mom's is up to $600,000. Y'all don't need all that money. And here's the thing. Give where you want to give. Nobody's saying that. But don't step in the way of us continuously supporting the Anthony family and getting the money that they need for his legal defense team.
Now, isn't that interesting? Let's dive back into it.
For lowering the bail from $1 million to $250,000 for Carmelo. And now they're talking about she need to be condemned. What the fuck talking about? Everybody crying about the system, how it be broken, how they just throw young black males under the jail. And now the one time a black male is not put under the jail, everybody looking confused. Let's be real for a second. This man is only 17 years old. He had no prior charges. He is not a flight risk. He said this was an act in self-defense. I'm not saying he's innocent. But a bond is not about guilt. It's about whether you can fight your case from the outside. So the question is, what is it? Do we want fair treatment or do we just want punishment? So was she wrong for not being a bot and showing some humanity? If this was the system we all asked for, being balanced and thoughtful and not just throwing kids up under the jail, why are we trying to cancel this judge? When all she's doing is doing her job.
Fact of the matter is, them folks mad because they took a L, and they can't stand to take a L.
When it comes to white people and violence, they always find a way to justify their actions. Even if it's clear as day that they're in the wrong, they are still going to try to find a way to justify the atrocities that they commit to non-white people, especially us. And not only that, they have the media to help them spin that narrative. And then once that narrative is spinned, then they go and then the laws that be either give them a slap on the wrist where they serve very low sentence, or they get parole, or they don't serve the full sentence and the rest of the time is dismissed because of good behavior. Whereas us, we're not seen as human. And when we do have to resort to violence against them in self-defense, even if it's on camera, we're still guilty. We're guilty before we even go to trial. And not only that, we have that same media spinning that narrative. And then the same people that justify an act of violence, they then troll us online. How dare we defend ourselves? How dare we fight back? I said before in many of my videos that we are not our ancestors. However, I stand corrected because our ancestors did fight. They fought back a lot, so much so that the slave owners were afraid of them. But that history wasn't taught. And with that history not being taught, we didn't know that our ancestors fought back, and they didn't know that we will fight back. So here we are in a system that has always been against us, and we have just sat and taken it. And now the tides are turning, and we're fighting back when our backs are against the wall. No, we're not going to march, but if you step onto our territory and threaten our lives, we're not going to sit back and take it and stand in a corner and cry. We're going to band together and fight back. Which brings me to this point. White people, white supremacy, Christianity, and the government are all under this umbrella of narcissism. That's the only way this makes sense to me in my mind. Because you have been playing this game for a very long time. You have been throwing rocks at us, then hiding your hand and playing the victim. But now, in 2025, you're throwing them rocks and we're catching them and throwing them back. And now you're confused as to why you're injured and hurt. We are our ancestors. And we will continue to keep fighting. So you need to have a conversation with yourselves and y'all's entitled children to leave us the fuck alone.
I agree. But check this out.
Karmelo Anthony's lawyer said is that bond is not supposed to be a punishment, because I feel like a lot of y'all failed to realize that and wanted that boy to be punished before he was even proven guilty. And another thing, he said when this evidence comes out, I think all of y'all judgments will be different. We've only heard one side of the story. That should tell you everything you need to know. I jumped for joy when I heard the news earlier today, because Karmelo Anthony deserves to be at home with his family. He was put in a tough situation, and as a 17-year-old child, he acted out of fear. And I just don't understand how y'all cannot see that. Then y'all crazy tales still want to bring up the fact that they raised almost $500,000. Then y'all crazy tales want to talk about, oh, his family has more than enough to bail him out with his $1 million bond. Okay, and y'all want them to struggle. Y'all literally want for it to be unfair for this family. And it's really sick because y'all don't even know that this boy is guilty. Shout out to his lawyer, shout out to their team, shout out to the judges, and let's keep on raising awareness and keep on praying for this boy and his family and justice to be served.
Y'all come here, fam. Let me talk to y'all. Let me get in your ear right quick. Cause see, the double standard has got to stop. If Daniel Penny was able to call stand your ground after what he did to Jordan Neely, if Zimmerman was able to call stand your ground after what he did to Trayvon Martin, then goddammit, this was definitely self-defense because there was not one aggressor, but two, allegedly. Because here's the thing, they're twins. So when one step, the other definitely gonna step. He got his back. One feels pain, the other feels the same. So you're not gonna tell me that the other one sat back there and didn't do nothing? Nah, I ain't buying it. He was real close enough that his brother died in his arms. So guess what? They didn't expect Anthony to take it as far as he did, but you cannot tell anyone how to react when they face danger. Your reaction is fight or flight. Get up out of there. Back him down. Get him out of your face. And that's just what he did. I see a lot of fools online, a lot of tethers online talking crap about, oh, he didn't have to do what he did. When faced with danger, you don't know what you'll do until you're put in those shoes. But as far as the savagery goes, the proof is in the pudding. These guys are talking about removing the judge. She got to get protection now because they want her head. Yeah, instead of waiting on the day in court and letting this thing play out, no, they want her removed from the bench. And from the looks of things, they're talking about any means necessary. But like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Get down in the comments section and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Karmelo Anthony being released from jail on $250,000 bond. Let me know what you think about the father trying to call out Carmelo Anthony's family when he's a SA offender. I am Chesley Major. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.